Researchers at San Diego State University did research into the issue of cigarette butts, and they wanted to know whether or not cigarette butts have a negative impact on the environment, and unsurprisingly, of course they do. What they found was that an estimated 4.5 trillion of the annual 6 trillion cigarettes sold worldwide do not end up in a dustbin or ashtray, but are simply flicked away along a roadside or on a pavement. The ban on indoor smoking may have actually made this worse, because, you know, if you're smoking indoors, you're more likely to throw the cigarette butt in a trash can that's nearby. If you're outside, you probably think it's not that big of a deal. I always knew that this was an issue because, especially in California, when you're on the beach, you see the cigarette butts all over the place. And it's disastrous. So
first of all, I have to confess that if I smoked, which I don't, I'd want to flick the butts away too, because it always looks kind of cool. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm saying, oh, you're terrible, you're a bad person. And you shouldn't do it because of the results, which I'm going to give you more amazing numbers on in a second. But like when people flick it away, it looks kind of like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, I see why they do it. Now, here are the disastrous consequences. Turns out there's 110 million pounds of butts a year in the U.S. alone.
Yeah.
They have nicotine and pesticides in them. And it's because of the plastic fibers keep them. By the way, I have to note for the record, every time this story says butts, I think I'm a child.
You are a child.
110 million pounds of butts.
Yeah, so there are cleanup efforts in California, and one recent cleanup effort actually had 340,000 butts picked up from beaches. Oh, come on!
But that is, look, hold on, seriously, that is an amazing fact. Is that just in one day alone, they picked up 340,000 butts. Okay, I'm not going to do it again, but seriously, that's an amazing number.
So let's discuss why this is an issue. First of all, it damages the environment, and I'll tell you how. Animals will actually consume the butts thinking that it's food, and then they feel full, but they haven't actually consumed anything with nutrients in it, and then they die. D-I-E, die.
Okay, here's, if you're a conservative and you don't care about animals. I'm not sure that's entirely fair, but sometimes. Anyway, how about money? California spends $41 million a year sweeping away butts from the side of the highways. 41 million a year. Is that? I don't know. I found every number in this story amazing.
And by the way, these numbers were referenced in legislation that California lawmakers are trying to push. And the legislation would essentially ban cigarettes from having the filters on it, because, you know, research indicates that those filters actually do nothing to help with making the cigarettes healthier. The National Cancer Institute did research on it. They're like, no, it's more of a marketing ploy than anything else. It doesn't actually filter the cigarette for you.
Yeah, isn't that, look, I keep saying amazing, but cigarette companies are incredible. They like, oh, if we put a filter, it'll seem like it filters out the bad stuff, even though we know it doesn't. Let's go ahead and put a filter on it.
Amazing.
Oh, that's genius, man. I guess in essence they were saying, I like big butts.
Thank you, Jesus, the voice of reason.